This is a lesson on coterminal and reference angles. It's designed to understand the meaning and definitions of coterminal and reference angles. First of all, an angle in standard form is shown in both of these diagrams here. In standard form means that it starts at the initial side, of the angle is the positive x-axis. It's always the positive x-axis, okay? That's the initial side. The terminal side is the other side of the angle, okay? And obviously the origin is the vertex. All right, now, if the angle goes from the initial side, the positive x-axis, counterclockwise to the terminal side, it is considered a positive angle. If the angle goes from the initial side, the positive x-axis, to the terminal side in a clockwise direction, it is considered to be a negative angle, all right? So positive angles always go counterclockwise. Negative angles always go clockwise. Now, what do we mean by coterminal angles? Coterminal angles have the same initial side and terminal side. So let's look. We got three different angles here. First, let's look at the 45-degree angle, all right? The 45-degree angle starts at the initial side, which is the positive x-axis, and goes to the terminal side and in a counterclockwise direction. So it's positive 45 degrees. Now, let's look at the red angle, the minus 315 degrees. Again, it starts at the initial side, which is the positive x-axis, but now it's going clockwise since it's negative. It goes clockwise all the way around to the same terminal side, okay? So 45 degrees and minus 315 degrees are considered coterminal angles. They have the same initial side, they have the same terminal side. All right, let's look at this other angle up here, which is 405 degrees. Again, that starts at the positive x-axis, goes counterclockwise in this direction, goes past the initial side, and all the way up to the terminal side. So actually, it goes more than one full revolution, and it becomes 405 degrees. All three of these angles are considered coterminal angles. There are an infinite number of coterminal angles because you could keep going around and around as many times as you wanted before reaching the terminal side. So there's an infinite number of coterminal angles. All three of these happen to be three particular coterminal angles for this setup. All right, now what do we mean by reference angles? So we got four pictures here for the four quadrants. The standard angle, and then the reference angle. Reference angle is shown in red, all right? So let's start in quadrant 1. The standard angle starts at the positive x-axis, goes to the terminal side. It's in the first quadrant, therefore the reference angle is identical to the standard angle, okay? So the standard angle and the reference angles are equal. Now, go to quadrant 2. Starts at the positive x-axis, the standard angle goes to the terminal side, which is in the second quadrant. But now look, the reference angle is considered to be this angle right here. Now, one thing you have to understand about the reference angle, it's always with respect to the x-axis. It is never with respect to the y-axis. So it's always from the terminal side to the x-axis. And it is considered to be it has to be an angle less than 90 degrees, okay, to be considered a reference angle. All right, let's move down to quadrant 3. So our standard angle starts at the positive x-axis, goes all the way around, past 180 degrees, down into quadrant 3, okay? So that right there is your standard angle. The reference angle, again, goes from the terminal side of the angle to the x-axis. It is this angle right here, all right? And lastly, when we're in quadrant 4, the standard angle starts at the positive x-axis, goes all the way to the terminal side, which happens to be in quadrant 4. The reference angle, however, goes from that terminal side to the positive x-axis. That's the reference angle. So remember, two things. The reference angle is always from the terminal side to the x-axis, okay? And it is always less than 90 degrees. Now, in terms of the sign that you get, the SIGN that you're going to get for the various trig functions of the reference angle, it's dependent on the quadrant you're in, okay? It's dependent on the quadrant you're in, whether it's going to be positive or negative, all right? Hopefully that helps to explain things like reference angles, coterminal angles, angles in standard form, positive angles, negative angles.